Alright, a blessed Sunday, everyone. Hello, hello. We're live again. Hello po sa inyo. Just gonna share my screen. Super excited for today. And I know a lot of our followers are excited also to learn from our guest for this afternoon. So, share ko muna yung page and also share ko muna yung live natin. Hello po sa inyo. Please feel free to comment where you're watching us from and share. Don't forget to share po yung live natin. Share sa mga groups and sa timeline po. Help us. Share lang po. So, you can comment freely on the chat box. Hi po sa inyo. Dito sa Quezon City, medyo maambon, tsaka dark and gloomy. Yan. Please share our live for today. And if you have questions, yun, feel free to comment in the chat box. So, ask away. Hello po, Miss Marbet. Hi, Miss Anne, watching from Bulacan. Hi, Miss Jinky from Virac, Catanduanes. Hello po. Please help me share this post po. Super dami nating matututunan for this afternoon. And yun nga po, for all the previous webinars and yung mga, even yung 2024, year 2024 ng mga FB Live episodes, you can watch for free sa YouTube channel na Miss Joy SP. So please go on, subscribe po or share to your friends and families so they can also get to know and matulungan sila ng mga episodes natin doon for free. Super daming kaganapan. So, I'm so excited. Share ko lang po that these are the services that I do po. So, free webinars and FB Live events like this. And then I also offer online speech therapy and assessment, parent caregiver coaching and training, as well as private and public school company training po. And right now, ongoing po for the month of November to December, yung discounted rates natin. So, you can send the message to the FB po for the discounted rates ng online speech therapy eval and the speech therapy session itself. And yun nga po, for today po, may pipiliin po tayo at the end of our show, isang FB Live audience that stayed with us throughout. And yun nga, do comment or ask question. Yun po yung, doon natin pipiliin, doon sa mga lumalabas sa mga comment section. So, join us, be active, comment or ask questions po. Pipili tayo at the end of the show po. Yung ating, yan, our second winner could be you. So, stay with us po. And yung first winner natin ay si Jalalin Jalia. Na-contact ko na po siya. She's so thankful and excited. From Mindanao siya. So, nakakatuwa. Sobrang excited to get to know kung sino yung mapipili natin for later po. Ayan, please. Ayan, done sharing na. Thank you, Miss Marbet. Thank you, Miss Jinky. Salamat po sa mga nag-share ng page natin and ng live natin, I mean. Ayan. And excited din ako to discuss with you the decluttering that I will do starting December 1. So actually, kagagaling lang namin sa storage bago itong hapon, pagkatas ng lunch namin, para kuhanin yung lots. Dami kasing naipon talaga doon na mga toys na inipon ko pa from my eldest daughter Ryla, tapos hand me down kay Shan. Tapos yun, we'll be hoping to find a new home doon sa mga toys, books, Even shoes, ang dami pong matitinong shoes, yun. Pero yun nga, ilalagay ko din sa disclaimer, no, hindi po to brand new, pero pre-loved siya na maayos naman. Maayos, some may need just cleaning po, ganyan. Pero very functional pa po. Di naman po ako mamimigay ng mga sira-sira at butas-butas. Pero yun, so excited to give away. So ipopost ko po and di-discuss ko later yung details niyan at the end po. So, and ipopost ko rin yan sa page. Pero starting December 1 po yun. Tapos, please note lang po that kung sino man yung mapipiling follower, they have to shoulder the shipping fee. So, sorry na lang dun sa mga kung may magmamay na bandang Cebu or Mindanao, baka mas mahal pa yung shipping nila kaysa dun sa item na imamay nila. Pero ayun po, I live in Quezon City. So sa Quezon City po manggagaling yung items na ibu-book po ninyo for shipping. Pero super excited po. Ang daming toys, daming books, and may mga yun nga, shoes, mga maayos na mga gamit po talaga ng kids ko. And ayan, eto po. Napakaganda po nung last week na discussion ni Ma'am Susie about early intervention focusing on parent involvement. So, if you missed that episode, you can go check it out sa YouTube channel po na Miss Joy SP. So, please go and check it out. Subscribe na rin po kayo, Miss Joy SP YouTube channel. Nandun po sa RSL Pips Collab na playlist yung kay Ma'am Susie. So, ang ganda po ng mga techniques niya na binigay na very relatable, easy to follow po, very clear po. Thank you, Miss Grace Amparado, for sharing. Yes, sana po makasali kayo, Miss Jinky. I hope to. And yan. So for now, eto na po yung super, super excited to introduce to you and announce our first adult autistic guest sa platform po natin. When I started this last May, so nakakila tayo, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, seventh, seventh guest po. So ang ating first adult guest is si Japons, Juan Alfonso Japons, Pulhin Dakumo. So I would like to just read lang for our audience to get to know more about our guest speaker. So, he is an autistic and independent autism advocate and also an autism researcher. He graduated with highest honors of summa cum laude at De La Salle University, Manila. This June 25 lang po yan. So fresh na fresh lang naman. This year lang po. With a degree of Bachelor of Arts, major in psychology. Other awards that he has gained, he is a Student Leadership Awardee. He also got Best Undergraduate Thesis and Jose Rizal Honors Society Awardee. And currently, marami po siyang mga affiliations with professional affiliations such as Samahan ng Mag-aaral ng Psikolohiya. He's a former Associate Vice President for Research and Development. He's also a former co-commissioner for DLSU's USG Commission on Disability Inclusion. And he's a member of International Society for Autism Research and an affiliate member of Psychological Association of the Philippines or PAP. So sikat po yan sa mga practicing and licensed professionals natin ng mga psychologists sa buong Pilipinas. And then he's also a member of De La Salle University Hope and Wellbeing Laboratory and Sustainability Psychology and Planetary Health Research Laboratory. Yung current research engagements niya, he has participated he's participated in international development of the participatory autism knowledge measure or for short PAK-M. Ayan po. Mamaya he can talk more about it. He's also doing Rising Faster Than Sea Levels, Elevating the Experiences of Climate-Aware Young People. And for past research presentation, he has presented at International Society for Autism Research 2025 annual meeting in Seattle, USA, and as well as International Developmental Pediatrics Association Congress in 2021 and for the Philippine Society for Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics Biennial Convention in 2021. So yung mga DevPeds po natin yon. He has also been invited for speaking engagements like during the De La Salle University Manila's 202nd commencement exercises and also for the Philippine Society for Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics Biennial Convention back in 2023. So, marami na po siyang mga speaking engagements and I'm so glad that he said yes. So, sobrang busy niya actually. Ayan, he said yes to us. So, sobrang kilig, sobrang thankful, sobrang daming matututunan talaga from him. Ayan, so we are now with 15. Hello po sa 15 live audience po natin. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to call on Japons. Are you there? I'm going to stop my presentation.
Hello.
Hi, say hi
Hi.
to our followers and audience.
Hello. Thank
Sabi,
you for having me.
thank you for saying yes. Sabi ni Awesome Objection, Japon says my Lodi.
Uh,
Hello, isa rin siya sa mga digital content creator na autistic adult sa community
I
natin.
see. That's great.
Yep. So sobrang dami nating mapag-uusapan for today and I hope our audience will comment or ask questions and then we'll try to share the responses later. But for now, we're going to talk about yun munang mga challenges. What can you share about the challenges that you've experienced as in your journey?
Oh, okay. So a lot of my challenges, especially growing up, well, related to my autism was social in nature. I mean, as expected. Um, One of the things or one of the experiences that really got the clinicians or the psychologists, the the psychiatrists up to develop suspicions that I'm autistic was that I had difficulty understanding a lot of social nuances or a lot of social differences or what do a lot of social things mean or social behaviors mean. So when I was actually younger throughout high school, I struggled with depression and anxiety because of this. And initially, my intervention was for that until my clinicians did realize that a lot of it really stemmed from that social difficulty. And that's when they started realizing that maybe Japan's is autistic. And I went through the diagnostic process and it was confirmed that I'm autistic. And after realizing that, or after getting the diagnosis, um, that was already what I was 18 years old, so I was diagnosed pretty late. And um, throughout college, I did try to understand my social struggles a lot better. I started to notice that I really couldn't determine whether a conversation ended or not. And that's something that my friends really had to point out. That's one of the things that I brought up in my graduation speech, where sometimes I would just walk away from a conversation out of the blue because I couldn't really tell na uh, na the conversation is done talaga. So mostly it's that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of it is really social in nature, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I really need accommodations or support from other individuals on helping me understand the social situation or reading social cues.
So, going back to what you said, mga teenagers, no, doon yung sinabi mo that you were having depression and initially yung naging intervention is to address the depression and the
Mhm,
struggles then, no,
mhm.
in that aspect. So, was it
Yeah,
like therapy na counseling?
yeah. It was counseling. I also had medication at that time as well, and that did help for a while until um at some point I really started having a lot more difficulty, or my status or state really started to decline for a bit. And that's when a lot of the clinicians really started realizing, okay, maybe Japan's there might be something else, or there might be something different that we need to approach here. So yes, that was the experience.
Mhm. There's a question here. If an awesome objection is wondering if you went through stages of grief after you got the diagnosis now, because he did
uh
when he got.
yeah honestly, I could see why. I could see the reasoning behind the stages of grief, especially here in the Philippines, because autism is very stigmatized here in the Philippines, especially throughout the 2010s and before that. And when I was younger, because my mom is actually a clinician, a deathbed, I I did notice a lot of the stigma that was really presented towards autistic people and a lot of the pessimism presented towards them. So, and but at the same time, I really understood a lot of the nuances, the differences, and the strengths that a lot of autistic people had. And when I got diagnosed, I did not go through the stages of grief. I
Uh-huh.
honestly I didn't go through it because I knew the idea of neurodiversity. I knew the idea of there's nothing wrong with being autistic. But I did initially had a stage of fear, not because of the autism, but because of how the community would react to me as an autistic individual. And that's the reason why. And considering that at 18, just newly diagnosed, I needed to understand what my autism meant for me and for
Mhm.
myself specifically. I needed to understand how it worked for me. I needed to understand how it related to my identity. And going through that, I knew, especially with the stigma, I decided to keep it secret or be secretive about it. And even my clinicians um had that notion as well, to keep it or to be secretive about it for the meantime until I felt more confident and felt more comfortable with how I related my autism to me and to myself and
Mm.
my identity.
Thank you. I will just say hi to Miss Shane and to Teacher Weng. They are joining us
Ah,
now. And just to sorry, just to repeat back to what you said, no. So you were diagnosed. You got your diagnosis at 18,
mhm,
but there were some struggles when you were teenager. So
mhm,
Japan's had to go through counseling and even medication.
mhm,
But even after that, yung mga clinicians niya thought na there's something more behind it. So that's
mhm.
why they went for further testing until they got the diagnosis at 18 years of age.
Yeah.
And at that time, as he just said, yun nga, he decided, and parang the people around him, his family and the teachers and the clinicians thought that it's best for him to not announce it fully siguro sa mga iba.
Mhm.
So that meant na even the high school and college, nung nag-enter ka, they didn't know that you have a diagnosis. Tama ba?
Actually, in I was diagnosed after high school. Um, and in college, at the start, because it's a whole story, it's a whole process. I went through after talking with my clinicians, I said I'm gonna go to the guidance in my university. I'll go to the guidance in the LSU, and then disclose my condition and ask if there's anything that they could do to help me navigate through college. And they gave me a mentor or a supervisor who would help me along the way, Dr. Resurrection. God bless him. He's an amazing mentor. And he really did help me with trying to navigate through college. And he was actually one of the people who kind of encouraged me to advocate for myself and help me develop the different ways to develop my confidence to advocate for myself and for other people as well. So in college, there was a very small group of people who knew.
Mhm.
Especially at the start, it was the mentor, it was the assigned guidance counselor, and then my closest group of friends. And then um as I went through college, it started to expand a bit, but it wasn't to everyone. Not and there were, I know very well when I disclosed my autism in graduation, there were a lot of people who were surprised too, because they've known me for a while, but I've never disclosed it to them, especially since we studied psychology. So um it expanded into a small group of people. Not It's like around what 10 close friends, and then the professors, the and some administrators. So um those were the people who did know, and then did help me develop certain systems or certain approaches to um navigating through college effectively, in
Mhm.
ensuring my development with my autism.
Ang galing. Sobrang nakakatuwa 'tong experience na 'to and coming from you because usually yung background is parang halimbawa like from me, from a professional advocating for your neurodiversity, parang usually the thinking is, "No, let's try to be parang out there. Let's like tell people, let's not blindside
Yeah,
the school, blah blah blah," like this.
yeah.
Pero here you are saying na ito yung naging experience mo. Would you say that was the best move? Like looking back now, would you have it like change something from it, or you think that was really a best
I
move for
I
you?
th- I think, considering my situation and the context, that was the best move for me talaga. Kasi I there was a lot of things that played into it, and I really needed to make sure that I could approach it very carefully and very purposefully. I just didn't want to jump into things immediately. But at the same time, I know there are a lot of people who were more, how should I say this, who are very comfortable with disclosing their condition immediately, and power to them, because it shows that that they're not only comfortable, but they're very confident and brave to discuss about that. So uh disclose at the level of your comfort. You don't disclose completely unless you are, if you're comfortable with it, if you see that it's very beneficial for you. And there's nothing wrong as well with being secretive about it if you don't feel safe with disclosing the condition, because at the end of the day, the autistic individual would know whether or not their environment would be
Supportive.
conducive or supportive for them. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. Because like this one is like helping me see it better and grow as a better professional. Kasi usually parang yung thinking is, no, let's advocate always. Parang let's push forward for acceptance. So let's go, 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 go. But here you are sharing your experience and you're making me see na it's still individualized. Like
Mm,
you'd have to consider the situation, the background details, the family, the school, yung
yeah.
mga bagay na to. So like feeling ko, even if I would be asked with my future clients and my current clients, hindi lang siya palaging, yes, isabihin mo agad na, i-disclose mo
Yeah.
agad na ito yung diagnosis mo. Pero I'd have to get more information about the family, about their background, about the school, and yung journey nila mismo so that it's more individualized and it's not just always pushing na, yun nga, mag-out ka. Hindi yung ganon. You're becoming more sensitive and responsive to the person and to their individual case. Kasi nga, gusto mo that at their own comfortability and their own timing, they would be able to out themselves. They would be
Yeah.
able to, yung maging supportive ka of it. Not really always just like taking control and saying na, no, ito yung best palagi. Parang laging ito lang
Mm,
one way yung best. So
mm.
thank you for that. Super, super, I feel enlightened. Basahin ko lang yung iba pang mga comments because there have been comments, amazing comments. Um, Hello, Dove. Coleta Natuno Martin said, an awesome mom watching from Ifugao. Hello po sa inyo dyan sa Ifugao.
Hi.
And Awesome Objection said, thank you for sharing your side. I feel validated, especially when you did a lot of research, how to shape your life through the autistic lens. I read a lot of books and watched a lot of videos to educate me as fast as I could do. And Neuro D Mom is also hello, mommy. She's a digital content creator, and she said she's happy to hear you again because she was there during your graduation
Ah,
speech dahil neurodivergent child niya is a batchmate of
I
yours.
see.
Nakakatuwa. Tinatanong pala ni
Sure.
Awesome Objection, were you a regular customer sa guidance office growing up?
Um, by like grade 10. Kasi that's when I really started. That's when everything really started getting really messy with my mental health. So by grade 10, grade 11, that's when I was really regularly at the guidance.
Mhm. There's Miss Dayan watching us from Malabon and Miss Abuel Sala Ana watching us from Lucena City, Quezon. Hello po sa inyo. Ang dami nag-hi sa'yo. Sabi ni Miss Kate Reyes, agreed. her child, Elgan, also don't want to disclose
Mm.
immediately his condition, pero hindi naman daw siya nahihiya. Ang sabi niya, ayaw niya lang daw niya na maawa ang tao sa kanya. Kaya I let him be and let him do it when he is comfortable and ready.
Yeah,
True.
that's right.
True. So respectful of that. And so, after that topic, I think we will be moving. Ito yung sobrang nung nag-first meet kami, I was so enlightened about what he said about
Mm.
language preferences. Yun na
Okay.
yung second topic natin. So, would you like to share more details about language preferences and
Oh,
what your
okay. So I identify as autistic. So that's identity first. So there are usually two ideas whenever we talk about language preferences. There is yung identity first, yung autistic person or autistics, and then there is person first, yung person with autism, a person with autism spectrum disorder. And the idea is with person first, the idea was initially to mitigate stigma as much as possible, but through language. But people did research into this and started wondering, does this really affect the level of stigma that people had, or does this really have the intended effect, like from Dr. Kristen Botema Botel from the United States. And I know there's another research done in the Netherlands on this a few years ago, and there are more researches coming out over the past few years that it really didn't matter which one you
Mhm.
used. So, because I know from in the Philippines, there in the 2010s and a bit until today, a lot of people were very hesitant about using autistic. And but it's okay to use autistic. There's nothing wrong with being autistic. And if the more that we go away from the idea, or the more that we treat the term autistic in this certain taboo way, the more that we reinforce the idea that there might be something wrong with it. But there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. So um I so whenever it comes to language preferences, it will always be dependent on the individual. I know internationally, the autism community and even in autism research, we started to embrace the term autistic again. So both are valid, especially in research and advocacy. But at the end of the day, it will always be dependent on the individual, and for big if there are bigger groups of individuals, the collective group itself.
Mhm. Thank you. So, yun yung reflection ko naman doon is, yun nga, it also becomes individualized. Like,
Mhm.
I couldn't always say sa mga tao na eto autistic first language kasi
Mm,
depende pa rin sa experiences nila.
mm,
But if I would be a professional advocating and
mm,
following the research, yun nga yung sinasabi ni Japons that di ba lumalabas na wala naman difference whether you say autistic individual to or
uh,
person with autism siya, di ba?
mm,
It's more of like respecting the person that you're dealing with. So like to let you know, yun then I've coined the term this segment is awesome minds and where I interview and ask for guests na in the spectrum to share their stories. But when I met Japons, he said I preferred having yun nga yung language that would make him
you make
comfortable.
comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really happy about that. And thank you so much for that, Miss Joey. And another thing with person first and identity first, because I know a lot of people ask me specifically, why do I specifically use identity first outside of the research? When I was thinking about it, especially throughout college, I know that using person first language, in person with autism, is grounded on the idea of having a shared humanity. And there's nothing wrong with the idea of a shared humanity. It's actually a very good idea. It's just whenever I thought about it, why do people need to find a shared humanity or something shared with me first before they could respect me? They could
Mhm.
just respect me as autistic as is. There's not
Mhm.
They don't need to go look for a shared characteristic. So
Mhm.
that's also one of the reasons why I really I feel more comfortable with the idea of identity first language.
Correct. And so yun, yung we respect the person, the family itself, whichever case they would use. Pero yung sinabi, yung talagang pinakatumatak sa akin is you're moving away to remove the stigma. Kasi nga totoo
Mhm.
naman, most people tend to use autistic as a negative derogatory way na
Yeah.
hindi naman dapat, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Like para kang autistic diyan or wag kang autistic yung mga
Yeah.
ganun, 'di ba? Yung parang napaka-casual pag binibitawan siya na para bang it's a kind of mas mababang uri. So
Yeah.
when more people are coming to use it na yun nga yun identity first sila yung
Yeah.
ginagamit na I'm autistic, 'di ba? Parang yun nga it sheds
You
away that shame.
yeah, it's like reclaiming the term talaga in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. Because it's a term that the autistic community has really used, and they really embraced it. It shows to an extent an embrace with the condition as well.
True. Sabi ni
So
Awesome Objection, honestly, words are just words until the person inserts their interpretation on them. So true.
yeah, that's very true. It's there's a lot into cognitive psychology and especially linguistics into that, but that could be a discussion for another day.
True. Pero sobrang yun yung isang sobrang na-appreciate ko is yung we're continually learning and yun nga sabi ko, yun yung first meeting, parang yun yung first topic kasi namin about
Mhm.
the title and about how to put the
Yeah.
pub mat for it and all that. So
Yeah.
sobrang ano siya, eye-opening siya for me. And then even now, 'di ba, parang as a professional, yun nga always to ask the family, the person what they prefer to be called to, 'di ba? Kung ano yung ginagamit nila to identify themselves.
Mhm.
So moving on, our next topic is about societal blaming of autism and parents' education.
Yeah.
Ano yung take mo dun?
Oh, in a lot of ways kasi whenever we look at how should I say this? Like different challenges or different difficulties, a lot of people really run to the idea of it's because it's because of the autism or because he's autistic. But there is this very interesting theory that actually that is caught on internationally, that's accepted internationally. But right now in the Philippines, it's still gaining traction, but it's not yet at the level where it's in the public consciousness. It's called double empathy problem, which it's proposed by Dr. Damien Milton, who's an autistic researcher from the UK. And it's this theory suggests that individuals or autistic individuals have difficulties not because of their characteristics or their autistic traits, but because there is or ano to, they're having autistic individuals have difficulties not because their frameworks are not neurotypical, but because neurotypical people or neurotypical society doesn't also go and try to meet them halfway too, because the expectation nowadays is usually just normalizing autistic individuals, and that is a problem because you're basically telling them to be inauthentic. There's a lot of autistic individuals and there's autistic traits that are very adaptive and really help an individual, and once you tell them that it's not proper or you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, you're telling them to basically be less authentic or less themselves, just to
Mhm.
fit a neurotypical paradigm or a neurotypical idea of the world. So what the double empathy problems proposes is that n- um society shouldn't really blame autistic individuals, but also not autistic individuals, but instead they should look at the society, the community itself, or the society itself, and see what are the shortcomings here that that makes it difficult for autistic individuals to live or thrive in the community, and then find accommodations for them.
Mhm.
But yes, that's what my take is on blaming autism here in the
Mhm.
Philippines.
And sorry, ikakat ko lang
Sure,
because I
sure.
want to segue that my previous guest on RSL Peeps Collab, si
Mm,
Teacher Rosie, she had that. She had a presentation about double empathy. So if you want to know more about that, i-check out niyo po yung RSL Peeps Collab sa YouTube channel na Miss Joy SP and find Teacher Rosie because she did another about neurodiversity rin kasi siya, about neurodiversity
mm,
affirming practice yung talk niya. So you can go watch that and nabanggit po yun and na-discuss niya rin, na-cover niya rin yung double empathy problem. So,
Yeah.
makakatulong po yun para sa mga mas gusto pang maintindihan bukod sa na-share ni Zapons for today about double
Yeah.
empathy problem.
But yeah, so generally it's really that idea, and that fits like what thank you for bringing up neurodiversity. That fits the neurodiversity paradigm because it's the neurodiversity paradigm, quoting Patrick Dwyer in his one of his researches or one of his papers, who's also an autistic researcher, this time in Australia. He defines the neurodiversity paradigm as we give supports to autistic individuals so that they could develop different skills, different um, capacities that would help them enrich themselves, not to become neurotypical, but to become the best versions of themselves. And then at the same time, you find different accommodations or different problematic things in the community to adjust or to change to support or not to support and to augment autistic individuals and their roles in the community. So yeah, that's generally the idea.
Mhm. Basahin ko lang yung comment. Sabi ni Mami Abuel, "My son is 8 years old now. Ramdam ko aware na siya. Medyo selective na ako kung kanino makipag-usap." Ay sorry, medyo tama siya si Mami. Selective daw si Mami kung kanino makipag-usap tungkol sa pagiging autistic niya. And I mean, pinapakiramdaman ko muna yung nagtatanong kasi it's either interested ba siya or nagmamarites lang. Totoo. Parang kung interested because they want to connect and they want to be friends,
Yeah,
regardless, 'di ba? That's really good.
yeah, that shows
Yeah,
social intent and interest.
correct. Pero kung imamarites ka lang para i-gossip na, "Uy, alam mo ba yung anak ni ganito?" Ayun, 'di ba? Ibang usapan po yun. So, sabi ni Awesome Objection, "Did you have people give up on you after they experienced the first manifestation of autism, like friendship over?" May
Oh,
mga gano'n ka ba
wow, that's the first time someone actually asked that question. That's a really good question because I haven't really reflected on it as much. I mean, not not necessarily, no. Um, not entirely. So fortunately enough, I didn't experience something like that. But I know I've heard cases of that internationally where um once they had like an autism manifestation or a presentation, and they started to struggle with it, some of their social ties kind of cut. Uh and that's something that kind of needs to be navigated within the community and kind of really need to um be checked on. That
Mhm.
basically means that the community needs to have different how should I say this? Not necessarily checks and balances because that feels that feels very policy.
Yeah,
Uh
parang legal masyado.
Parang legal na yan. But yeah, there needs they but they need to the idea of friendship needs to be a bit examined a bit more.
Mhm, mhm. So balikan ko lang kasi 'tong third topic natin is
Yeah.
societal blaming also of parents' education. Ano naman
Okay.
yung take mo dun sa part na yun, na parents'
Okay.
education?
In parents' education, basically, I'm not entirely uh I'm not entirely sure about how parents' education has been really presented here in the Philippines because I, I'll be honest, I do really see a lot of hate comments on on some of the posts or some of the stories about me, and in a lot of ways we kind of need to um kind of evolve or promote education in a sense where not in well in the Philippines where not only parents of autistic individuals contribute to it but also autistic individuals themselves, so they both need to coexist. But of course I've been seeing unfortunately, I'm not saying that this is all parents because I've met a lot of amazing parents who are very supportive to their kids, and really they are really dead set on the idea of promoting their kids and making sure that they have their own voice as well and encouraging them to advocate for themselves too. But I've seen that there are some cases where it's a bit how should I say this, where there are some cases where some sectors or some some individuals are a bit hostile
Mm-hmm.
towards autistic individuals um advocating for themselves under the idea that it might overlook the needs or the accommodations that the child needs, which
Mm-hmm.
is not true. Having autistic individuals advocate for themselves and um introducing that in parents' education is very important because it kind of helps everyone within the autistic community because whenever it comes to autism advocacy, they're always advocating for as much supports as possible. So that includes as much accommodations as possible, as much different support systems, as much different educational systems that would not only help themselves, but more importantly, but also um, other autistic individuals as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's something that needs to really be in line right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Correct. Correct. Ang ganda ng sinabi mo, i-highlight ko lang that there's these two individual, the autistic individual and the parents with the autistic child.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to realize also na they both have their different journeys, even if they are together. Pero as the child gets to advocate better for themselves, dapat, alam mo yun, nag-grow din yung parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to notice na, and to know na nag-a-adjust pareho, lalo na yung parents. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
when your kids are teenagers, tapos mag-grow up sila to young adults, so makikita mo na as you prepare them for that, mas nagliles yung stance na you know everything that's right for them.
Yeah,
Because that
exactly.
child that you're developing is becoming a person of their own. So hindi
Yeah.
pwedeng at 18, at 19, you're always thinking na lahat pa rin ng take ng parent with an autistic child ay tama. Hindi
Mm-hmm.
pwedeng, parang you cannot be standing firm on that thinking na, hindi, I still know what's best all the time, always for my child. Kahit na 18 na siya, 21 na siya, magbabago yon. So that, even the parents, they must know na darating yun sa journey, na darating dun sa part na mas maglulusen yung hold nila or yung take nila on their child's life, even if they are with a diagnosis or neurodivergent, yung kid that they're caring for.
Yeah.
So yeah, may change sa ganung dynamic na very important kasi
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes the parents would think na all throughout yung plan nila in mind, yun na lang dapat yung masunod.
Yeah.
'Diba? And
And
that's so hard.
yeah. And in addition to parents' education, I think something that I also want to bring up is the idea that because the I mean I grew up in a therapy center. Well because my mom's a clinician and whenever I would um before I would go home, especially when I was living in Batangas, I will have to wait in my mom's therapy center from like 2 to 6 p.m. After doing my homework, I have nothing else to do but to just observe the environment. And I noticed that there were a lot of parents um there were a number of parents who really looked at the condition very pessimistically in the sense that they kind of see it as a death sentence, which is very problematic. It's a really it's kind of difficult, a difficult idea. So in a lot of cases, I really think that a lot of parents' education, because I mean, it revolves around the idea of becoming an adult. They start to think that how will my child become an adult of an adult who not only could support themselves, but could pursue um the different journeys of adulthood, like your career or living a full or pursuing fulfillment. And we need to ensure that in parents' education, a lot um there are like modules or ideas that revolve around the concept of um autism is not a death sentence. It's just a different way of looking at the world. And that means that when it comes to their development to become an adult, we have to approach it differently so that we could support them in the best way possible to become the people that they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be um whenever it comes to educating parents, we need to really emphasize on that things are different, yes, but it doesn't mean that it's a complete loss or something. Because I've seen parents describe it in that way, and that's a terrible way to describe autism. But we we really need to emphasize the idea that there are ways to really support the child into adulthood and further.
Mhm.
So yes.
We have two interesting questions. Miss Shane asked, "What's your take on the boundaries of parent advocates exposing their child who cannot speak for themselves on social media?" Ooh, big topic,
Oh,
diba?
that's a very big topic. I think I know what you guys are talking about here. Okay. Uh, I'll be really honest because this is like from a not only research ethics but like ethics idea generally. I get the idea that advocating for your child, it's really important. You should always advocate for your child, but you should also and always find a way to ensure that you could get the consent of your child. And I know in a lot of autism research, I when I went to the convention recently, it there's this idea of presumed competence. You need to assume that because they could understand you. They could really autistic people, even when they're nonverbal, they could understand you, and they could have ways to express ideas too. So you need to find a way where you are communicating that, or you could, well, get the consent of the child as much as possible, and ensure that they're comfortable with um with um expressing themselves publicly like that. Uh, of course, things are not very clean cut, but
True.
there you'll need to really find a way to ensure that. So it really grounds on the still getting the consent of the child as much as possible, because at the end of the day, it's their not only their image, it's also their story and their well-being that's also being presented, and it's also on the line.
True. Thank you, Machine. Ang ganda nung topic
Yeah,
kasi we know more people are, into content creation and into advocacy, and sometimes it's so blurry. It's so parang hard to see ano yung nag-advocate ka, ano yung na-abuse mo na yung power, and yun nga yung consent, 'di ba? Sobrang halaga niya. I would just want to read Miss Abuel because she responded and said, "Yes, Miss Joy, kasi in my own little way, nag-advocate na rin po ako ng awareness, acceptance, lalo na po yung mga co-parents ko sa SNED. I keep on tagging them, sharing to our group chats kung ano po yung natututunan ko." Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that kasi it really is, ano ba, nakakakilig sa puso that you're being part of the movement and the community in your own little ways. Totoo po yun. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing and what Japan is doing, what is doing. And we are all here. We're spending our time, we're spending our skills and what we can do to, move in that direction towards neurodiversity and acceptance. Ito pa yung isang gandang question ni Sir Bren. Hi Sir Bren, the Reading Owl Edutherapy. Sabi niya, what helped you the most in school? What books, websites, or resources do you recommend for other kids with autism and for their parents?
Oh,
Mm.
okay. There's one researcher that I really recommend. He's an autistic autism researcher as well. I saw him in the conference, and I've talked a bunch with him for a while. Dr. Stephen Shore. He has a lot of really good ideas whenever it comes to not only supporting autistic individuals through college, and not only and uh promoting autism acceptance, or like promoting autism um within a community through his 4As. Um Feel free to research on that. There's also of course, usually there's that people usually say Temple Grandin because it's really especially her books. That's because that covers a lot of ideas in autism. A lot of the other books that I've really used for reference, it's more research. It's not necessarily for understanding yourself. Uh, but there are books such as, I think, I'm not entirely sure that what the name is, but I know there's a book from Dr. Francesca Happe and Sue. Fletcher Watson from the United Kingdom on basically the status quo of autism and autism studies today. And then there is neurodiversity from Bertelsdottir Roskvist and Chone and Stenning, who discuss about what neurodiversity is today and how um, and what considerations a lot of people need to take into account with bringing neurodiversity into the workplace, into school, and all of that. And there are also some chapters there that are written uh, by autistic researchers as well. There are also work from sorry, these are all very because that's my background. I do research, so it's all very scientific. Um, but there's also researchers like Dr. Patrick Dwyer as well. There's also some materials from a ASAN, that's ASAN from the United States. And then there is the Stanford Neurodiversity Project as well, which is led by Dr. Lawrence Fung. Um, there are those are the ones from the top of my head primarily, because a lot of them really just kind of covers what autism is, what neurodiversity is, and then it doesn't necessarily give explicit directions on how to approach your identity with it. I mean, there are some researches into identity, but it doesn't necessarily they all don't necessarily discuss about it, but gaining that knowledge and then processing it individually would ensure a more individualized and more personally authentic idea of autism related to the self. But
Thank you.
yes.
Matanong ko lang, ito personal, parang follow-up lang din
Mhm.
dun. Are there any contemporary popular movie, series, or whatever na yun yung theme about neurodiversity or autism that you've watched and you'd personally like or na-appreciate mo? Meron ba?
Uh, oh, it's a good question.
Sorry,
No,
magbibigay
it's
ako ng
okay.
example. Kasi like yung pinaka-common na K-pop kasi si Attorney Woo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that one is really a hit. Napanood ko
Yeah.
din yun, nagustuhan ko
Yeah.
siya. So I was just wondering.
I mean, um, I haven't. I've been in college for 4 years, and I've been really like really invested into my academics. So I didn't really get the opportunity to look into a lot of media. But so far, my only advice whenever it comes to to watching media about autistic people or on autistic stories, it's always look at it from a very critical lens. In not critical
Mhm.
as in you're critiquing it, but critical in the idea of, so what does this mean? Is this accurate? Is this not accurate? Because at the end of the day, autism is a very big spectrum. It could manifest differently for everyone and everyone across the spectrum. So there are of course representations that are problematic in some of these media, and there are representations that are actually quite helpful. So always approach media with that idea. What ideas here are a bit problematic whenever it comes to representing autistic people, and what ideas here are kind of helpful and kind of um representative of autistic individuals. Because I I remember in the international research project we started to discuss about like autism stereotypes and how a lot of media kind of influences it talaga.
Mhm.
Because there and it's a whole discussion for another day, but um yeah, that idea
Correct. I thank
always.
you for, yeah, giving that caution talaga.
Yeah.
Kasi sometimes, syempre, pag nanonood ka, parang feel good palagi. Tapos, yun, nag-mention din si Mami, sabi niya, The Good Doctor. Yes, napanood ko. Yan yung mga
Yeah.
often na napanood ko din, na nagustuhan ko. Pero, again, di ba, parang, yun nga yung sinasabi ni Japons na yung autistic stereotypes. Kasi maybe hindi natin mapapansin, pero even us, baka nasi-shift na rin tayo dun sa gano'n na, ay, ito yung itsura. Na parang, yun nga yung reminder na it's a big and vague spectrum. So you can't expect what you saw from one to the other
Yeah.
exactly because they're in the spectrum.
Yeah, there might be some things that are very relatable. I mean, there like some of the challenges, some of the more positive, or it's like some of the challenges and some of the um happy positive moments are relatable, but there are also some that are not very relatable, or so, or even at worst very very harming towards the autistic community.
Mhm.
So always take that caution.
Mhm. So our next topic is life fulfillment for autistic adults.
That's a very good question. Yeah, that's a very good, because that's my field of interest as well. I specifically look into positive psychology and autism. So I look into hope, self-actualization, self-determination, happiness, fulfillment for autistic individuals. And that's actually what one of my thesis was on. I looked into how autistic young adults define their self-actualization. And we kind of need to always approach life fulfillment for autistic individuals with the sense of perceptual humility. That means that we don't assume that the ideal life for neurotypical individuals is the same with autistic individuals. Because if we assume that, it basically runs on the idea of, oh, um to this is very deficit model centric, which looks at the idea of to achieve a better life or to have better mental health and well-being, autism needs to be decreased. That's not true. That should not never be the case, because life fulfillment for autistic individuals also includes their autism too, in the sense that they found a way and they learned how to live with it and grow into it. And that's a very important idea that I learned in I can't remember who specifically said it, but they said that autistic individuals, to live a good life, they kind of, or to grow into adulthood, they don't grow out of their autism, they grow into it. They learn what their autism traits are, their experiences, and then how should I say this, how to navigate life accordingly.
Mhm.
I remember in my research as well, in my thesis, a lot of um the participants really expressed this idea of they don't want to kind of be normalized, or the idea of they kind of want a lot of their um there are autistic preferences, autistic traits to be respected. They wanted to be accepted in their community for being and for being autistic, and at the same time they also wanted some safeguards and scaffolds that allows them to manage their condition if ever things go awry. So so that it revolves around that idea. Life fulfillment doesn't necessarily mean that they grow out of autism. It doesn't necessarily mean that they become less autistic. Arguably it runs on the idea that they oh no, I'm not gonna say it runs on the idea that they grow into their autism, and um they feel at ease and comfort with their autism, and they know how to approach the world, their environment, their surroundings, and their life accordingly. So that's what
Mhm.
life fulfillment would practically be for an autistic adult.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Sobrang enlightening niya, especially like yung practice ko is mostly in the pediatric to adolescent.
Mhm.
Pero like if I can share, I've had lots of may mga students ako way back in magdi-name na tayo ng year no. So magkaka-computer na ng age. Pero like back in 2007, before 2010, na
Mm,
ngayon talagang 18 na sila, 20s na sila. So
mm.
grown up adults na talaga. And I feel I super appreciate that some of them are still, yung mga mommies nila are friends ko, so I see
Yeah.
them post and you see them growing. And yun, kasi yun nga, hindi naman nagsistop yung autism kapag 13 na
Yeah.
sila or
Yeah,
18 na
yeah, yeah,
sila.
exactly. There's and that's something that I know in the Philippines is something that is very much needed. There needs to be a lot of autistic supports for adulthood, because when like what you said, when they become 18, when they become 30, when they become 40, they become an autistic individual who's 18, 30, 40. And that shows the idea that, I mean, also at the same time, I also wanted to bring this up with with adulthood and life fulfillment and autism, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, they should stop going to therapy, they should stop going to a clinician. There's nothing wrong with going to a clinician as an adult, because the and arguably a fulfilling life would, for autistic individuals, could have that there, because that shows that they have supports and they have that scaffold just in case there are things that are a bit difficult to manage on their end. So uh yeah, that it's very important that we ensure that that these support systems, these accommodations are also existent in adulthood. At the end of the
True.
day, this is something that I always said, and I've been it's like a sentiment that I share with a supervisor from the UK. Um, Autistic individuals this intrinsically deserves the opportunity to thrive, and that also includes their life in adulthood. So we need to ensure that that there are appropriate and adequate and enough accommodations to allow that in adulthood. Because at the end of the day, we're just doing a disservice to them if we're going to focus so much, or we're going to focus heavily on the therapy until 18 and then stop it there. That is
Yeah.
a major disservice, because there are times where they might struggle in their 20s. 20s mas lalo, it's a very transitional decade, or for individuals, let alone autistic individuals.
True.
So ensuring those supports is one of the most inclusive things or important things that we could do for autistic people.
True. Yun yung isa sa na-appreciate ko when we first had our meeting, na parang you were voicing out na if you think about it, nasa na yung mga younger kids, 'di ba? Adults na sila, nasa 20s na sila,
Yeah.
nasa 30s na sila. And what support are they getting? Kasi autistic pa rin naman sila. They may, hopefully, we're praying that they're thriving because of the therapy, pero they're still needed to be seen, that they are still here, that they
Yeah.
still have autism. So, maganda na napag-uusapan, saka nabe-bring up siya. Tapos, yung isa pang na-appreciate ko dito sa topic nga na 'to and na sinabi mo is, na for us, for the society, for the parents and family to not have the same expectations. Meaning, para
Yeah.
kasi if you think about it, o kailan siya mag-aasawa, o meron na ba siyang boyfriend? Yung mga gano'n, parang we
Yes.
always, yeah, parang mag-system pa rin tayo dun sa double empathy problem na we're always thinking of things and seeing it always through the lens ng neurotypical
Yeah.
life cycle and life stage, and yung mga expectations natin always dun pa rin naka-hinge.
Yeah.
So, 'di ba, if you have someone in your family or in your circle na in the spectrum na maybe nasa 20s, nasa 30s, 'di ba? They may have a different um journey or path, and that is okay if they end up na kung gusto nila ng may nahanap sila na to be with in a relationship na okay naman and helpful, or if they want to be single, wala ring problema doon, 'di ba? So,
Mhm.
yun, natuwa ako dun sa sinabi mo na parang let's not always expect na yun nga, parang lagi mong iisipin mag-aasawa ba siya, paano na siya, yung mga ganong bagay,
Yeah.
kasi they would have a different trajectory, and yun nga, depende dun sa magiging path and journey talaga nila.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always down to their preferences and how they want to live a fulfilled life and their standards of what a fulfilled life is. It is not um neurotypical people should not really judge their standards of what a fulfilled life is, because there are different experiences, there are different nuances, there are different contexts and backgrounds to it as well.
Correct. Read ko lang yung mga chats natin. Si Mami Neurody recommended books that are written by Jed Baker. I don't know if you're familiar, pero dire-recommend ni Mami. Sabi niya okay daw siya.
Mhm.
And she agrees to getting a consent from your child based on experience before, like yun nga, putting on public. And then si Mami Zel ni Awesome Ella, thank you for being here. Sabi niya, di ba naro-romanticize ang autism in some movies? Which is so true, naro-romanticize siya, and yun nga, sometimes sa yung sinabi ni Japons na sometimes nagiging detrimental dun sa autistic community. Kasi nagkakaroon ng ganong romanticization, or parang nag-hope yung karamihan, nagkakaroon ng parang stereotype
Mhm.
Yeah. Sabi ni Sir Bren, as a researcher, how does consuming research from Western sources translate in terms of relating it to the Filipino context? Do you
Oh,
see a pattern emerging now among peers, or how does it clash or complement with Filipino cultures and values?
oh, that's a good question because in psychology there's always the idea of how should it, how of cross-cultural validity if this research could be generalized to different cultures. And that is a very valid idea because we cannot assume that experiences abroad will be the experiences the same here. So, but what we could really do is take some of the approaches or some of um the how should I say this, the trends, the research trends abroad, and then try to find or try to apply it here. For example, uh it's very internationally, it's get the standard right now, or what's being really accepted in autism research is the idea of participatory research. And that means that autistic individuals are also involved in the research in leadership capacities, and at the same time they're not really treated as subject, if their participants are not treated as subjects but as collaborators into it. So um that's something that hasn't really gotten on in the Philippines yet. There's not a lot of published papers that do this, and I mean there's not even a lot of published papers that really look into the experiences of autistic individuals themselves. So uh of course what we will really need to do right now is to uh try to understand how research is done here in the Philippine context, and consider a lot of like what was said, Philippine cultural ideas and values, and how that plays into autism uh, in our society in the Philippines, especially when it comes to autism acceptance and autism appreciation here in the Philippines. I know this is something that hasn't really been researched into a lot. So if there are any people who want to pursue research in the Philippines and autism, you could look into that. Psikolehiyang Pilipino is very rich. There's a lot of context in Philippine psychology that could play a role into how um autism is accepted in the Philippines or appreciated into the Philippines. So it's an untapped area of research that needs to be looked into further. I know very well during um before I graduated there was also another research group who graduated like a term or finished their thesis a term after me, who looked into autism masking and how that related with a lot of Filipino or Psikolohing Filipino or Philippine psychology ideas. So uh, that's something that we really need to explore.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Would you believe now we're already 1 hour and 10 minutes into
Ah,
our chat and our talk? We're running on our last two topics na po.
okay.
The next one is what can you say about what autism means to the individual, and how would you give a tip or advice to process a diagnosis to parents and to the individual themselves?
Okay. I think this goes back to the idea of level of comfort. You need to find your level of comfort with your autism. You need to find you need to process. I mean, there's a lot in autism, and that's the reason why a diagnosis kind of looks very daunting. Like it's because there's a lot of things that you kind of need to consider. There's a lot of things that you need to process, and don't it's okay if you don't necessarily process everything immediately. I know there is that want where or that urge where you kind of want the answers presented to us as soon as possible. Take your time. It doesn't necessarily mean that um you've been ano to, it's been a few months since the diagnosis and you're still struggling. It doesn't necessarily mean it's all bad. It means that you're actually kind of um you're trying to look into it. You're really trying to explore and understand yourself. make sure to give yourself time. Make sure to be kind to yourself at the same
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Um, navigating through an autism diagnosis is daunting and could be difficult at times, but at the end of the day, it's something that autistic people will really need to confront at the end, really need to confront and find a way to manage through. And at the end of the day, at some point they do manage through it naman.
Mhm. Mhm.
It could take a few months to even a few years, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm, mhm. True. Thank you for saying that. And ibabalik ko lang dun sa sinabi mo kanina, no, for those na kaka-join lang sa atin. Hi po kay Awesome Nana, she's watching us. Banggitin ko lang na when you said na always remember that there's the autistic individual and the parent with the autistic child. So yun nga, magkaiba yung journey and pareho silang nagjo-journey, they're in the same journey pero may iba-iba silang mga experiences yung bawat isa sa kanila. What's so amazing when you were talking na na-realize ko na even if your child is in level 2 or level 3 na hindi pa ganun fully able to communicate and express, if you think about it, if you connect with your child on a level na you shared experiences and yung joys and yung things that you'd like to do together, may connection kayo, that in itself is a bond that's so strong. And
Mhm,
you know that in the future, pareho kayong work towards advocating for what's best for the child and for you as the parent of the child.
mhm,
So kasi parang ang dami sa community na nakikita ko na gano'n, eh, na advocate sila and they're showing that respectful relationship with their child even if
mhm,
hindi pa gano'n ka verbal or ka-conversant or ka-vocal yung mga child nila. They're very much leaning into what the things that their kids are showing sa videos or sa mga pino-post nila and giving insight for other people to understand. So natutuwa ako dun. Shoutout ko si Awesome Nanay tsaka si Neuro D Ma'am and si Awesome Ella, si Mami Zell kasi sila yung isa sa yun sino din si John Arbolante because Daddy changed to yung name ng FB page niya to John Arbolante from John Rivers Autism Journey. So marami naman sa community na na-inspire din ako and natutuwa ako na makita. Okay, on our last topic, eto medyo madugo din siya, autism policies and autistic participation. What's your take on that?
okay, policies and autistic participation. There's a very popular quote. I think this is also from ASAN as well, ASAN in the United States. There nothing about us without us. I mean, that's been taken from a lot of. I know there's a very long history with that phrase before the autism community took it, but it's something that a lot that the autism community internationally and even here in the Philippines resonated with, because whenever it comes to different policies or different decisions about autism care and autism support, there needs to be autistic people who are working on it and giving uh or commenting on it or giving guidance on it, because at the end of the day it's their lives as well. It affects them most of all. So we need to make sure, I mean, not like what I said with participatory research or participatory research with autism, we need to make sure that they're really really involved. So that's always a standard that we kind of need to uphold. Every policy revolving around autism uh, needs to always have autistic people actively involved in it. Not even in a tokenistic way, because there's that risk where you just bring on like one autistic person or two autistic people into the board and then just let them be. No, it should always actively be with like groups of autistic people with, and then you always consult with them if there's a problem or if there's an issue that you think would be of concern to them whenever it comes to writing the legislation. You have to set a meeting with them and consult with them and discuss with them what's the best way that we should approach this, what would be most relevant to you guys. So yes, autistic people always needs to be there. They have a voice at the end of the day and you should honor it as well.
Totoo.
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng sinabi mo ha, na parang real talk tayo, because some people would do that just for the image, just for show. At they would put on someone in the spectrum and parang 'di ba, oh yan branding, nandito na sila, but they don't take an active role. Hindi, kumbaga
Oo.
their voice doesn't matter. Parang whatever they say, parang nasa-shrug off lang, parang picture lang sila doon. Parang alam mo yun, para masabi na oh meron tayong autistic representative. So that's very different. So
Mm.
like whenever there's an event or something na mga movements, yeah, it's good to check din kung ayun ba, may mga active voices ba sila doon.
Yeah.
Hindi lang yung parang for face value and branding na
Yeah,
masabing meron pero hindi naman tinitake yung voice nila or yung comments nila or yung
exactly.
insights nila, 'di ba?
Exactly. It needs to it really needs to be grounded on that idea. So I know very well that more recently um there's been a lot of, well, policies or at least plans that have involved autistic people, and I'm really happy about that. But at the end of the day, we need to ensure that is a reality everywhere here in the Philippines. So yes, whenever we want to ensure or find supports for autistic individuals from a policy or a legislative level or a government level, we need to make sure that they're always there involved so that they could hear about it and give comments about it if ever, because
True.
it would be counterintuitive if you don't have them there, tapos na pass bilang act, and it doesn't help them at the end of the day. We didn't get their
True.
comments, so what was the point of giving the
Totoo.
law? So
Totoo. Ang
yes.
sad nun, totoo. And to be honest may mga nagko-comment din ako kasi tama nga yung very timely dahil ang daming nagsusulputan na mga ganto, ipapass daw yung bill. So nice to see face value, no? Parang, uy, wow, nakakatuwa. Pero if you think about it, ando din yung backflip, yung another flip of the coin na baka for clout lang to or gusto lang makisabay. Yun
Mhm.
yung
Yeah,
nakakasad.
yeah, I've
Totoo, to be
seen,
honest,
yeah,
totoo.
yeah, I've seen
Nasasad
that.
din ako. Nasasad din ako sa mga ganun na parang kung ano na 'to nag-post pero parang for clout lang, ganyan.
Yeah.
So, hindi talaga yung intent nila is to bring that forward. Parang mas makikita mo na gustong dalhin yung pangalan nila, parang makasakay sila dun sa issue na 'to or
Mhm.
napapanahon na usapan na 'to, and then yun yung sad part dun.
Mhm.
Um, nakakatuwa yung mga parents dito, Japons. They said, "Thank you for enlightenment and sharing your insights." 'Cause nacha-challenge silang mag-Google at yumaman ng English nila.
Yeah.
Sabi din ni Mami Zil, sabi niya napag-Google daw siya sa tokenism na binanggit mo.
Sorry.
Nakakatuwa. And last one, as a psychologist working with autistic kids and teens using mostly CBT, what are your recommendations for me? Si Sir Brento from Davao,
Okay.
important points I should consider, what to explore or to avoid. Anong comments mo doon?
Oh, okay.
CBT.
So actually CBT is one of the popular clinical approaches, even just not even for autism, for a lot of different conditions. And I know I've gone through CBT as well, and it did help me to an extent. So but I don't want to, kasi I just making sure, because I don't have my license yet. uh I'm going to be taking the RSI when I get back home after my studies abroad. But so I don't really think I could really give a lot of comments on therapeutic approaches, at least here. But whenever it comes to yung recommendations for therapy or for supports, I will always advocate for ensuring a neuroaffirming approach. Kasi it when autism is a lifelong condition, and it will always be problematic if you tell the kid, oh, you have to be less autistic through therapy. It's always problematic. You have to always ensure that, you always have to ensure a neuroaffirming approach, because it tells the kid you're different and there might be challenges, so we're going to help you learn how to manage through those challenges, and you'll also have some strengths too, so we're going to learn how to augment those strengths through the therapy. We're not going to teach you how to be normal. We're going to teach you or help you find the most comfortable space for yourself so that you could thrive as an individual. So look into a lot of neuroaffirming approaches, and a lot, I know there's a lot of research on trying to have CBT be more neuroaffirming, or integrate neuroaffirming approaches into CBT and different therapies. So um you could please look into that. Some things that you should also consider, a lot of it really depends on context too. And to whenever it comes to interests, you should a lot of autistic individuals really share their interests because that means that they're kind of comfortable with the situation, comfortable with you as a person. That's something that kind of shows that, oh, they I'm doing my job right as a clinician, because they're comfortable with me. They're happy to share these ideas with me. So try find a way to work around that without, you know, shutting them down or shooting them down, because I know how it felt when whenever I would talk about my interests, and then someone would kind of dismiss me. So it sometimes it might even debilitate or make an autistic individual feel uh socially or experience a bit of social difficulty. um what to explore and avoid. Oh my god, it's just like it's like an hour and 20 minutes into this. So there's a lot to talk about this. You're free to message me if you want to discuss about that further. But yeah, generally these are the ideas that I would give right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wouldn't take so much of your time, but I'd really like to take it from the bottom of my heart for saying yes. And so,
Thank
parang on
you,
behalf
Miss
of
Mary.
our followers na sobrang na-enlightened, na-appreciate nila yung mga sinabi mo. Thank you so much. Thank you. And last message before you can leave and go to your business again.
Yeah, it's okay. Um Last message. Autism, I know autism advocacy in the Philippines is kind of in its infancy stage. Like I really have to admit it, because after going to multiple conferences around the world on this, I've seen how advanced they are, how how many stuff that they've really looked into, and how many things that they've really considered, not only in research but also in advocacy. So um but at the same time, we're making good progress. We're really working towards it. So for all autistic individuals, continue fighting for yourself and for your autistic peers, because at the end of the day, you guys are also the experts of your own lived experiences. For caretakers and parents, always make sure that when you're approaching or ensuring your child's development, always anchor it on them. Always think that always make sure that everything that you do is always for their development, and always talk to them and always communicate with them. At the end of the day, they're also individuals who are very much capable to discuss about a lot of different ideas, especially about themselves with you. And it is always the parent's role to augment that, not to assume different ideas, but always promote their child, what their child has been saying and what their child wants to say. And for clinicians, exciting world out there. There are so many new things that are coming into um, autism care and autism support internationally. I'm just really waiting for it to start trickling down into the Philippines. And for autism researchers in the Philippines, let's start looking into researching on autism, on autistic experiences themselves, and start working with autistic individuals to ensure a more, how should I say this, uh ensure a bigger a bigger data set, or a bigger literature on autism in the Philippines that's also guided by autistic individuals and their preferences. There's so many things to look forward to, and excited for how we're going to move on into the future with autism here in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rapons. Thank you for this beautiful collaboration and saying yes. Kahit na alam kong super, super, super busy mo, super you
It's
made
okay.
this this finale 2025 of like what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm trying to do, why I'm doing all this live sessions and yung mga ginagawa ko kahit na hindi pa tayo nag-earn talaga doon sa walang na monetization na nagaganap. Ngunit thank you because I know it's
It's for
more
the
people.
community.
Yeah, correct.
It's
More
for the
people will
community.
correct. More people will be able to benefit from it and learn from it. So thank you so much for your time. We
Thank
wish you
you.
all the best in your endeavors and alam kong busy ka nga and I hope you have time to enjoy yung coming holiday seasons.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much,
Thank you. Thank you.
everyone.
I hope to see you in the future, Pa. Please say yes.
Yeah,
Don't.
yeah, of course, of course, of course. My messages are always open. I try to reply to as much as I can. Uh, so yes, thank you so much.
You. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye. So, with that po, yan, kasi sobrang busy ni Japons, but hindi pa po tapos yung ating live. I just wanted to go back and share again. Salamat po sa mga nagstay up until now, ano. So, balikan ko lang muna yung, para sa mga nagkaka-join pa lang or hindi tayo nasimulan. Ayan, you can watch all the full webinars natin, yung mga previews din sa YouTube channel. So, please go and subscribe and check it out po. Thank you po sa mga nagko-comment. Ang daming nag-comment. Nakakatuwa po. Basahin lang natin sila. Um, Sabi ni Mami Abuel, bago mawala ulit sa isip ko, naalala ko lang today is November 23 and last year ginanap yung first Christmas party ng Autism PH sa Batangas chapter at doon niya na-meet sila Inay Brenz and Mami Dims. Thank you po for being part of our community. And Sir Bren, thank you. Thank you for joining and sharing your questions and actively being here. Sabi ni Mami Zil, I love this more neuro-affirming approach kasi hindi naman pareho ang mga autistics. Others do thrive in school and graduate, but others just really don't. Sabi ni Miss Jessa Mutia, I'm currently working on my research study about inclusive education. Oh, sorry, hindi ko to nabasa. But you can message or I'll try to forward this. Thank you sa mga nag-watch pa. Gusto ko lang, ayun nga, sabihin sa mga kasama pa natin that discounted rates are still available po. So you can send a PM sa page po natin. And i-announce ko po today ang second winner natin. So ang second winner actually natin ay si Miss Jinky from Virac Catanduanes. So I'm gonna post that. Thank you for joining us. And gusto ko rin pong i-share na itong about the pre-love decluttering na mangyayari, no? So, I live in Quezon City kasi, pero before December 1, I'll start sharing and posting na yung mga things that I will be giving away for free. Yan. Tapos, the mechanics would have to be, gagawin, ang mangyayari kasi is for the pictures of things like shoes, books, and toys na pre-loved, hindi brand new po, pero matitino pa naman po sila. Needs cleaning lang siguro or some parts are missing pero maayos pa naman and kids can still enjoy them. I'm gonna post them po. And yun, I just need people to say mine and then dun sa ipopost ko na pages and na print nila, you just have to say mine. So siguro mine one, mine second, third, fourth. Kasi ang mangyayari, if the first person that said mine, hindi nag-work out yung pag-uusap namin, yung shipping or whatever, I'll go to the second one that said mine and contact that person. So, ganun yung gagawin ko. I'm gonna put also a separate post for the details of that. Pero, like, if you know someone that would benefit, you can, like, direct them to the page and say na, yun nga, I'll be posting away yung mga free books and toys and yung shoes and clothes. Marami kasi mga ganun yung kids ko na hinahanapan na namin ng bagong bahay at bagong owner. So, they can use it for free. And yun lang pala, the follower will be the one to shoulder their shipping fee. So, from Quezon City po yun. And available po, nasa YouTube na yung last week natin na early intervention focusing on family involvement ni Teacher Susie. Ang ganda-ganda rin po nun. I hope you can check it out sa YouTube channel po natin. And yeah, yun yung today natin will be uploaded then within tonight po. So pwede niyong balikan. Ang dami niyang, ang dami niyang share sa atin, ang daming insights, ang dami pong mga natutunan, enlightenment na nangyari. So, pwede nyo po siyang balikan pag na-post na po. And for the last Sunday of November, samahan nyo po kami for another very interesting topic with na all about handwriting, OT with Paula. Next Sunday na po yan, 5 p.m. November 30. So, last Sunday of November 2025. So, samahan niyo po kami as I close yung pong this 2025 years FB Live event. So, salamat po sa inyo na nagstay. And salamat sa mga followers and supporters po natin. God bless you all po. Have a blessed week for this November. Ingat po kayong lahat. Bye!